some heavier subject matters than I guess I might normally talk about in a video. So trigger warning. So trigger warning. If hearing about physical or mental health might feel too heavy for you right now, if it might feel too heavy for you right now, if you feel like it's gonna trigger you, maybe you go and watch another video, okay? And that's completely okay. That's valid. That's valid if you can't sit with me right now. That's okay. It's okay. You gotta take care of you, babe. Whatever feels good. Whatever feels good is okay. And if it doesn't feel okay, then that's okay too. And I completely understand. So, I have been really, really struggling. I am just going to be as honest as I can because I know what it's like to sit and feel so alone in chronic illnesses, in, being in bad physical health, being in bad mental health, and feeling so alone. And I don't wish that feeling upon anyone. And I started the safe space 4 years ago because I was in bed chronically ill. And I've been watching ASMR for at least 8 years now, around 8 years. So I've been watching ASMR for many years, but due to a lot of my illnesses and just having a really sensitive body, being chronically ill, or being in a lot of pain due to my chronic illnesses, I'm allergic to a lot of medicine. And so I have not really ever really had pain management. So it's really hard for me to ease any of my discomfort levels, pain levels, and it always has been. So I've been prescribed many different medications, and I just end up allergic to them, having reactions a lot of the times. And so about 4 years ago, I was laying in bed, so heavily depressed, so depressed, in so much pain, and I found myself only being able to relax in that moment and have some ease from the ASMR artist that I was watching in that moment. And it was Lily Whispers. And I just remember laying there crying, thinking, I wonder if she knows how much she's helping me. I wonder if she knows how much what this means to me, and how she's helping one person, and what she's doing really, really matters. And it wasn't even just that. I was easing into a state of relaxation for a moment and having an escape out of my current suffering. I felt like I had a friend. Dude, I've been sick for the past 10 years of my life. One of my illnesses that I have, which is the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I was born with, so I've always had that. I've always had joint pain. I first remember experiencing awful joint pain when I was around 9-10 years old. And my knees were in so much pain, my knees and my hips, and eventually it then moved into my ankles. And by the time that I was 12, I was fully blown, chronically ill, with some mystery illnesses. At the time, we didn't know what I had. And so I went from having a very active childhood, to all of a sudden being bedridden. I couldn't go to school because I was so sick. I could not get out of bed. I would lay most days with a scarf wrapped around my head because my eyes were in so much pain. My head hurt so bad. I was so nauseated. I could not move. And my illnesses have been progressing since I was 12, and I am almost 22. So, since I was 12, on and off, I was in school sometimes, I was out of school sometimes. I don't know if anyone knows this about me. I did not graduate high school. I do not have a high school diploma, which does not make me any less than, or you, or you, or you, or you. It does not, a diploma does not equal my level of intelligence or worth. And it does not define you. A diploma never defines you, babe. We live in a society where we base so much intelligence and worth on levels of education and on grades, and that's just not okay. So, if you didn't know that about me, I didn't graduate high school. So, since I was in the 7th grade into my sophomore year of high school, that's the last year that I finished, I was on and off. So I would go to school, like I said, sometimes I could go in audit classes when I felt good. So I was very, very isolated at home. I did not have much of a social life. I, every once in a while, did something with some friends, but when you get sick at such a young age, life moves on, and I was just a child, and there were those people that were my friends were just children, and you eventually get forgotten about, right? Just naturally, and it's like being you know, those sticky pads that you can set out and bugs will get stuck on them. I feel like I've been a bug stuck on a sticky pad for the past 10 years of my life, and everyone else is moving and going forward with life, and I'm just stuck on this pad that I can't get off of, and I'm alone. So I got sick at 12, and I have been heavily isolated on and off since then. I'm mostly homebound, even before the pandemic. So the way the world has been experiencing this pandemic and such isolation and not being able to leave home, and such, there are so many people that are chronically ill that has been our life. That has been X amount of years of our life. So pandemic life, I was doing before pandemic life was a thing. Isolation and not leaving home is something that I am very unfortunately used to. So extreme isolation started at a very young age, and so and I'm a very, very social person. I think we all know. Have you ever watched a video of mine where I just can shut the fuck up? No, you probably haven't. Who here has felt personally victimized by my rambles when I have promised you that it's going to be a no talking video, or I'm supposed to get straight to a certain type of trigger, right? And I just keep rambling. We've all felt personally victimized by my incoherent babbling. So I'm a very social person, and isolation is horrific, and I don't wish it upon anyone. And I have thought that what I hope coming out, or as the world can give us a chance if we have the loved ones that are chronically ill, that, that this will give us maybe a slight bit better of understanding, and just, like I said, another level of compassion. Another level of compassion. So I only know to describe any form of isolation is awful for one's mental health. It is a killer. 1000%. It is the worst part about being chronically ill. I would say worse than the physical pain is the isolation that I have been suffering with for the past 10 years of my life. That is what eats away at me every single day, more than physical pain. Not that I don't endure high levels of physical pain, because I do. But if you had to quarantine at any point in time during COVID for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, I mean, people lost their minds. They couldn't do it. They couldn't handle it. It broke them. People didn't want to do it. And so I just encourage you to take a moment. If you have ever had someone in your life who's chronically ill, or ever passed judgment, or just had a lack of understanding for someone that experiences that all the time. Because it's a killer. So I hope moving forward with COVID that that we can continue to hold that space, that, and even like for jobs, so many people that are chronically ill have been denied over and over again the opportunity to work from home, and have been told in so many different areas of work that it's not possible. So many people end up on disability. They lose their jobs. They suffer, their families suffer. And it has now been done, and it has been proven that so many areas people can work from home from, and it is possible. And I hope that this continues opportunity for people that are chronically ill to have more job opportunities, and working from home, jobs that are more accommodating, when so many people have been told it's not possible for years and years, right? So, point being is that ramble, the isolation is awful. And it, apart from these safe spaces, I don't have many people in my life. And how can one have friends when they don't leave their home? I don't really socialize. Again, I have a few people in my life. I don't go to parties. I don't go to social events, anything like that, because I don't know anyone. I don't have people to do that with. I don't have a support system. I don't have friends outside of our safe spaces, which are my lifelines. These are my lifelines, and if I didn't have them, I don't know if I'd be here, to be completely honest. So, when I was laying that day watching Lily Whispers, I was comforted by the feeling of as I was able to help one person, it will always be worth it. So if you never hear me talk about when our safe space reaches a certain number of family members, subscribers, if you will, I don't always talk about it. And it's not because I'm not over the moon or thrilled or ecstatic, but it was never the main drive in so many content creators, and this is not for me to like one up and say that I'm, either way is completely fine. I'm just saying that numbers have never been my drive. Numbers have never been my drive, ever. Analytics never been a motivator for me in our safe spaces. They just haven't. Haven't. And so ASMR and this community means everything to me. Again, they are my lifelines, and I don't have anything outside of the safe space here and our safe space on Patreon. And I try and be vulnerable and talk to the best of my abilities about my chronic illnesses, and physical health, mental health, because I think social media is such a false reality that we all seem to forget this portrayal that we can control, this image that we can control of ourselves and put out to the world. And usually that betrayal does not include moments, real life moments of struggles. It's always a smile, some toxic positivity, and we shove it out there. And as we're continuously scrolling on that same platform, looking at others putting on the same fake smile, never showing anything real, we are sitting there crying, possibly, if you're like me, and wondering why I can't just pull it together like so and so, why I can't just do that. And I never, ever, ever want to play that part in social media where I make someone feel like that. And I'm so sorry if you have ever felt like that in our safe spaces. If you possibly struggle with chronic or health, physical, mental health, and you know the illnesses that I struggle with, and I look okay, and I have on a full face of makeup, and I do a video, and it's done, and you wonder, you're so strong, wish I could push through like Maddie. When you don't know what happens behind the scenes. You don't know about the passing out between takes. You don't know about the throwing up in between takes because I'm so nauseated and sick from the lights. You just, no one sees the full picture. And I know that I've played a part into that false reality, and I'm so sorry. And in the past few years, I have, I make a dedicated video every month on Patreon, a vlog/life video where I talk about, I open up more in depth about life struggles and being chronically ill and what that's like. And I also want to be able to show that I get told often by you guys with the sweetest words of, you're so strong, how do you stay positive, how do you keep going? And the truth is to be completely honest with you, I am not okay. I'm not okay. I am exhausted beyond belief. I feel stripped bare. I don't have fight in me anymore. I've been sick for 10 years. And every day when I wake up and go to sleep, and all the time in between, I am in pain. last up to like 20 plus minutes where I am screaming in pain. Screaming in pain. I cannot move. Dropping to the floor wherever I am, and there's nothing I can do about it. And this is triggered by movement. And now they're starting in my sleep, and even laying down fully. It doesn't relieve. It's the only way to get it to ease. But sitting up like this triggers it. So like I'm in really bad pain right now. So movement triggers these pain episodes. And so what I mean by I'm constantly paying for it, I'm always on borrowed energy. I will always pay for what I'm doing in the moment. So like right now, I am sitting up and doing this, but I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna pay for it tomorrow. I'll pay for it. Give it another hour, and I'm gonna pay for doing this activity. And I will be in bed in pain, probably with tears. So if I choose to go out tomorrow, let's say going to Target, I will pay for it later when I get home. I will pay for it while out and about. I'm always on some type of borrowed energy that I then have to recover from. And sometimes recovery is, a few hours. Sometimes recovery is days. Sometimes recovery is weeks from very simple, basic, everyday tasks. If you don't know the illnesses that I have mast cell activation syndrome. I have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I have craniocervical instability. I get fluid built up on my brain, so I go in and out of like spinal fluid leaks often. Like fibromyalgia stuff. I have every system of my body is affected by these different these different illnesses. I also have vertebrae in my neck that slip out of place and put pressure on my like interior jugular, which cause many different things, many different issues. As you can imagine, if one's jugular is being compressed by vertebrae slipping out of place. So I have many different health things going on, and it is not just the physical pain. I am worn down mentally, and my depression is so bad. My depression and anxiety. I also have seizure-like episodes, nocturnal ones. Not to mention those fun guys. And so it's not just the physical pain that cripples me and that wears me down. It is the mental health, and I am worn down to just about nothing at this point in time. And I've been here for a while. But it's just to the point where I can't continue living life like this, and something has to change. Because I can't keep doing it. I am so tired. I am so tired. I'm exhausted, and I don't have any fight left in me. And I'm really trying not to give up any hope. But I'm just about completely empty. The isolation, the social isolation is more than I can continue to go on with. is more than I can handle at this point as well. I feel completely defeated. I feel like it's just a losing battle, a losing game that I will never win, and that my body's just really tired. My mind and body are really, really tired. I feel like I'm deteriorating in just about in every way that one possibly can. I can't continue with these seizure episodes that I'm having at night. I can't continue with the passing out episodes, the just pain levels every day, the isolation. I know that many of you know and have been very concerned about my weight loss in the past year and a half. I currently weigh the lowest that I've ever weighed in my life. Due to my stomach getting paralyzed and not working properly and breaking down food. I don't have an eating disorder, by the way. It's like gastroparesis issues, stuff like that. But I can't break down food properly, and so when I eat, my food will literally just sit right here for hours, and I will be in awful pain just trying to keep it down. Even after taking my medicine in the morning, I will have to lay in bed for hours waiting for, like, even sometimes that water to go down and the medicine and such. I do take nausea meds through my port, which you guys have asked, what's that thing in your chest? This is a port catheter. This is a port catheter. So what you're seeing right here, these little like butterfly wings, this is a needle. And so basically underneath my skin, something is implanted, and it looks kind of like, we'll just use this as an example. It's like a little disc. It's like that big. Imagine a little square, kind of like that, and it's implanted under my chest, so it sticks out even when that needle and dressing isn't there, but it's under skin, and that then goes to my heart. And so here, this tube, that's what you're seeing as a tube. So this tube I will hook a syringe up to, or an IV bag, or whatever medicine treatment I need, and I will push that through, and it goes inside. So they got to the point where my veins, they couldn't get my veins anymore. I'm a very hard stick. My veins blow. They just couldn't get me. I would have to be stuck at least 3 times every time someone would try and get an IV, plus more. It was exhausting. It was excruciating. I was having to go up to the hospital to get the infusions that I need and hydration bags. A few times a week, whatever. And so this way, basically anything that you would do, it's basically like an IV in the chest. So imagine they would put it right here. Whatever they would do with a little IV right here, whatever they would put through one, that's what's going to go through here. That's what's going to go through here. So, usually see sometimes, you guys see that tube? Do you see that tube? How that will then loop and then go into the heart. So it is a central line. It is a central line. So that is what is under the skin. So sometimes you'll be able to see that tube stick out. You'll see something that looks like a lump under my skin, and it has, of course, a big scar over it. A lot of you guys think it's a hickey, something like that. I don't know. I've even been accused of having a, getting a boob job. Girl, I wish it was a boob job. It's not. It's a part catheter. That's what you're saying. So, I hope that when you look at this, I know it's concerning when you see, a needle stuck in someone's chest. And to answer some questions regarding it, I can access my own. I can access my port, but I've been really weak in the past however many months. And so, I have a home health care company, and a nurse comes out every week and accesses my port for me. So every week, this dressing gets changed and this needle gets changed out. It can stay in for about a week, and then you have to do it all over again. So I never go without my port accessed. I maybe go 48 hours within an entire month that I don't have this accessed, and that's usually when my skin just really needs a break, or if there's a gap in between me having to take the needle out. Deaccessing is what it's called, and when a nurse can come out and access me. So that is what that is what you see. And I hope that when you see this, that you can remember that this is what helps me live a more independent life. I get the very, I'm very blessed and have the privilege to stay at home in my bed and get my infusions. I can stay home and do what I need to. If I wanted to run errands, not that I leave the house anyway, but I don't have to go up to a hospital and stay there to get my treatment. Also, the nausea medicine helps me survive a little more every day. It helps me be able to manage my nausea when I can't keep down. I do nausea meds multiple times a day through my port, but it helps ease some nausea, so it helps that discomfort of when I am having gastro issues and not able to keep down food or liquid, whatever it might be at the time. And so, if you guys remember, I went into the hospital November, Thanksgiving of, not this last Thanksgiving, but the year before. I was in the hospital, and I was at a low weight then, and I was really struggling because I can't keep food down, can't get it down. It's exhausting. It is painful. I just can't even express to you how draining it is. My battle to eat every single day. And so at that point in time, I was at a low weight, and my doctor wanted to place a feeding tube in the hospital while I was there. Not just while I was in the hospital, but to have that permanently placed and it be there. And I've been trying to avoid a feeding tube like it's the plague. I have tried so hard. I have tried for this a year and a half to get weight up, and I did get my weight back up. I was able to, give my body more nutrition, and this summer and then this fall, my weight's just been declining. So I am definitely under 100 pounds right now. My body is struggling. It is getting no nutrition. It is not being hydrated, getting nutrition. it's gotta continuously be worked. So I'm on some different, they need to be picked up from the pharmacy, but you prescribe some different motility medications. And a shot that I will be giving myself, it's a shot in the stomach. I can't remember if it's a daily shot in the stomach or if it's a weekly shot in the stomach. Which, again, I've been sick since I was 12. I've been doing this for 10 years. Needles don't bother me. I've had more needles than I could. I don't even know a rough estimate of how many needles I've had for the past 10 years. Needles, I say this because they don't faze me. There are many times in my life where I was on different treatments. I was in the 14, 15, and giving myself Imbral shots in the leg every week. I was getting methotrexate, which is a chemo medication. I was getting shots of that every week, mixed with the Imbral shots every week. And I used to get Remicade infusions, and so they're just like endless. I've had just about every joint you can imagine, had steroid injections into them, including my knees, my wrists, my shoulders, my hips, my ankles, wrists, neck, lower back. So, and not to mention a needle in my chest every week. So it's not that needles themselves bother me. It's having to now cope with another weekly needle. It's just another mentally exhausting thing that it's a new level of normalcy that I have to adjust to. And it's a constant everyday mourning of what my body used to be like, of what it used to be able to do, of where I was 6 months ago. I mourn where my body was a year ago and how it's declined in a year. I mourn, every day in these recent months as my pain levels have gotten worse and I'm more debilitated in bed. It's a constant mourning and a new level of life to adjust to constantly, and that I don't have control over. To a very little extent do I have control over that. So that will be a shot in the stomach once a week or every day. Again, I can't remember, but it's just another thing to mentally cope with, to have to endure, to take. We went ahead and upped my nerve medication, which is gabapentin. Gabapentin has helped so much. I have really bad nerve pain and nerve damage from different things. I've had myelograms done. I have had multiple spinal taps. I've had blood patches. So I've had many needles stuck in my back that have left me with nerve damage. And that started at 14. So, I have lots of nerve damage going down my legs, like down my butt, lower back. Nerve pain in other parts of my body, but that's a lot of it. So we're gonna up the gabapentin to see if we can get some more stuff under control. I'm going back on a med that will hopefully help me sleep better at night, because I also don't sleep. I can go days at a time. I've been upwards of 3 days straight with no sleep. It's either I can't sleep at all or I can't wake up. There's very little in between. of sleep in 48 hours. Jackpot. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so well rested. This is amazing. And it's not. I'm still delirious and, not okay. So I have horrific insomnia. I don't sleep. I have debilitating anxiety at night of just constant chemicals dumping in my body at night. So I'm on a few different medications at night that help with that. And back in January or February, I was on a medicine that was really helping with that anxiety at night. It wasn't like actual psychological anxiety, it was just constant chemicals dumping. Not to say that I don't suffer from psychological anxiety, but it's more brought on by my illnesses, my physical illnesses. So anyways, I was on this medication that I'm going back on, but it was just at too high of a dose and it was leaving me a little more catatonic throughout the day than I should have been. I already suffer from debilitating brain fog, and just being fatigued and out of it a lot of the time. So I just can't always afford to have a medication that makes me completely catatonic throughout the day. And it was lowering my blood pressure too much. So I'm gonna go back on it, but I'm doing it. I'm sending it off to a compounding, or my doctor is to a compounding pharmacy, where I will be able to get it in liquid form, so I can then control the amount better. Because he already had me on the lowest dose that they offer in like pill form. So we're gonna try that. I'm waiting to get into a neurosurgeon right now at Stanford for the slippage of my vertebrae that are compressing and a elongated styloid. But there are some images that still need to be looked at, further read into CAT scans, and I need to get a sleep study. I need to get a sleep study done and then go in for a stress test to monitor like carbon dioxide or whatever levels that they need to do. So there are a few things that have to be done before I can see the neurosurgeon about this. And in the meantime, I'm going to start some physical therapy for this. It's not going to be the end game fix for that problem, but it can hopefully help, in the meantime, to do some work. But my doctor, he said that my gastro doctor, he spoke to her, and he emailed me after our appointment, and he just said that she's prepared to put the feeding tube in and that I need to call to make an appointment ASAP. So the feeding tube is coming. I don't know if it will be an NJ tube or a G tube. The issue is they can't put an NJ tube in on a deviated septum, and I have a heavily deviated septum on the side of my nose, so I already can't breathe half of the time, which is why you hear me sniffle all the time. But like, I sleep pulling my face like that because it's the only way I can fully breathe. Now, there are many reasons that we're looking that I have to do the sleep study for different look at just if my airways are being restricted in any way and such. And so I can't imagine that they are going to want to put an NJ tube in and mess with any of my airways that are already struggling right now, which is why I where they're supposed to be, or they can slip and slide due to my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It worries me about having a feeding tube placed, and the possibility of it moving where it's not supposed to, and that being, you know, life-threatening and like causing complications. I am really struggling with the reality of, you know, having this feeding tube placed. It's a lot to cope with mentally and physically. I've been trying to avoid it for a year and a half. If you've been around, you know that this has been a battle, and clearly one that I have just lost at this point. And not, you guys know I don't care about the, like, not to be superficial or care about the appearances, because I don't care about my port. It, you know, things like that. Like, my appearance is always changing in some way due to my illnesses or being affected, right? But like with the feeding tube, I can't, like the NJ tube that's on your face, you can't escape it. I mean, it's taped to your face, right? But what, I guess it makes me feel panicky because I can usually cover up and not appear sick sometimes. And with this, with having the feeding tube, every time I'll look at myself, I won't be able to forget that I have, or it's a feeling of like I haven't been able to take care of myself, and that I can't do that for myself and nourish my body like it needs, and I feel like I've just lost this battle. Or I just feel like that with my health overall. And then, you know, again, it doesn't make me any less than, and it doesn't change who I am, even though I often these days look at myself and don't recognize myself anymore. Just because I'm so drained and I'm so tired. I don't have it in me to keep going like this. And I'm at this point just watching my body deteriorate, and I can't stop it. And then with the, like, it's already, I get comments all the time about my body weight, about how awful I look. I get it every day on here. I get it on Instagram, people in my personal life. Like, I get it. I get that I don't look okay. I get that the port's not the most attractive thing. I get it. Like, you don't think that I'm not aware that a tube sticking out of my chest isn't super sexy. Like, I get it. You know, when I get my feeding tube, I guess that so you're constantly being challenged by looking in the mirror at yourself that's constantly fluctuating, and you can't help but, anyways, I hope it's not coming off in a superficial way, because it's not about that. It's mentally what it does to you, and just feeling like just being so out of control. So I am trying to feel beautiful and feel sexy, and not let my health challenge that. And especially in the dating world, there's not going to be anyone who's going to look at me and go, oh my god, that's so sexy, that's so beautiful, you know. So you just, it just is what it is. So overall, I'm in a really, really bad place. Really bad place. I'm exhausted. And exhaustion, I'm exhausted mentally and physically. And I just can't keep doing it like this. I can't keep going on like this. And I was honest with my doctor about that. But I just can't keep going like this. So I'm drained. In so many ways, I feel defeated. The isolation, I can't do anymore. You know, it was really hard before, and I had, you know, my sweet puppy Catalina, who passed away over a month ago now. But I just can't do it anymore. And I don't see how that's going to change. When you are in so much pain that you can't leave your bed, it's unpredictable. I can't drive. I live by myself. Yeah, I could go, if I wanted to, I guess, go live with my mom and brother. But that's the only family that I have. And of course, I have my sister, but outside of that, I don't have girlfriends to go hang out with. I don't have girlfriends to go and call. I just don't. And it's the same story that it's been for years. This is nothing new. The difference is that I just can't do it anymore. And I've been trying so hard. And then you throw in these the new levels of which my health is not okay. You know, the depression's really, really bad. I mean, clearly I think one can look at me and just know that. The anxiety's bad. I'm, not that I was dating before. I don't date again. But I'm just feeling really self-conscious these or let up in physical pain and having more changes to my physical body are just more than I can continue handling. So I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to be really present here in the past few months. I've been trying my hardest, but it's a challenge just to want to take care of myself, to take my medicine and get back in bed. You know, I've hired someone to come in, an assistant, to help me, like clean my house, physical tasks that I can't just always do. And that's helped, but I'm just really, really not okay. And my mental health is not okay. And it's okay to not be okay, and you're not alone. And I don't mean to worry anyone by saying any of this. And I don't mean to stress you out. I just don't want anyone to feel alone. And I do often put on makeup and film and act like it's fine, and it's not fine. You know, I'm trying, but I just feel like I'm completely losing myself because I'm so tired of this battle every day. Every day. From the moment I wake up till I go to sleep. And doing it alone is just exhausting. In the hopes of getting better. The hopes of getting better, in the hopes of, meeting people and having friends, and the hopes of, eventually having a romantic partner that I can enjoy. Just feels so far and not in the cards for me. I just want to live life, and I'm not living. I'm in pain, and I'm just barely getting by. So, that is where I am. And I'm trying really hard to show up and be present every day. And to keep going, but it feels so low. So that is where I'm at. And the pandemic has also triggered it feels like I'm getting sick for the first time over again. With the world now moving and transitioning for the past year, like I've had certain relationships with people in the past year that have been conducive and that have been good and that I've really enjoyed. But as the world tries to find a new sense of normal and move forward, you're not convenient for people anymore, because they'll go back to different office jobs, and you'll stay home and you'll seem like the unproductive one again who can't get out of bed, who can't go you know, I don't know if that makes sense. Again, not that I don't mourn all the time of what I was used to be able to do, and now I can't, and things like that. So just a lot going on that I'm trying my best through. I'm trying to stay present. I am trying to continue up with my yoga every day. And you know, it's not as if I don't have goals or things that I want to do. And every time I get sick, worse and things deteriorate. And it's not just a flare, it's that, I mean, flares are awful, and eventually I'll adjust to the new level of my new normalcy, of a, you know, new level of mobility and pain and life. Eventually I'll adjust to that, but it doesn't mean that it isn't going to strip me bare in the process. So, again, it's not that I don't have goals or things that I want, but then I get sick and these levels of pain start happening, and those then goals seem so far away, or not even far away, but not possible. Again, this is nothing new. I've been doing this for 10 years. It's just something has to change. And I know that the feeding tube will, you know, I won't have to battle that food battle every day. That will get easier, and that I'll feel somewhat better because my body will be nourished. And I won't be malnourished, right? I do know that. But I'm just struggling with the reality of things right now and where it's at. And eventually I'll be okay. And I'm fine. I always end up, no, I'm not fine. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. It's a thing that I do. I minimize everything. No, I'm not fine, and it doesn't feel fine, and it's not fine to be in these amounts of levels of pain every day, and discomfort and extreme isolation. It's just not okay. And I don't know what the solution is. I don't know how to make any of it better. I just know in the meantime, take my medicine, try and do yoga once a day, and take your medicine. That's all I know to do. And really all that I have the energy for. But I'm trying. But I'm trying. So it's okay to not be okay, babe. It's okay. And you're not alone. And I know our struggles look different. I know they might look different. And I'm sorry that I haven't been able to pull it together for our safe spaces. I've been trying so hard to keep it together. But I just can't anymore. So that's where I am. That's where I am. I'm just trying my best over here. And that's all we can do. That's all we can do. And that's always enough. It doesn't fix anything, but it is enough. So I hope that this makes you not feel so alone in some way. For my babes with chronic illnesses, that you know what pain levels every day, debilitating pain does to you every day mentally, and how it wears you down. And it's not to say that I haven't been worn down. I'm worn down all the time. I've been worn down for years. It's just I can't keep doing it. So I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm going to continue to, try and be as present as I can, and keep going, and keep going, and keep going the best that I can. The best that I can, because that's depression, anxiety, chronic pain, illness, suffering looks like this. It looks like a full face of makeup. It looks like hysterically crying in bed. It looks like laughing and giggling and drinking a Starbucks drink while walking down the street. It looks like so many different things. You never know what someone is going through, ever, 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 ever. You never know, ever. So be kind. Be kind. Be kind. And if someone is having a rough day, maybe not being so kind, I hope that you can take a step back, take a deep breath, acknowledge that whatever interaction you just had that might not have been super pleasant wasn't okay or appropriate, but instead of retaliating with maybe anger, whatever it is, that you can send lots of love, because you just never know what someone's going through, ever. Check in on your friends, the ones that seem okay, and the ones that are honest about not being okay. Check in on those you love, and check in with yourself. Check in with yourself, because it's okay to not be okay. It's okay. It's okay. Reach out to safe spaces. Reach out to a safe person in your life. If you feel that you have one, reach out to a doctor. Let someone know if you are not feeling okay. Reach out to a parent, a sibling, a friend, a counselor, a doctor, a professor, a teacher, whoever it is. And never forget that you have this safe space, and that you are so, so loved. And that you are so, so loved. And thank you for always being